Hey guys, it's Andi here. Thank you so much for jumping on and watching this week's Facebook Live video with me. If you're already a subscriber to my newsletter, then I mentioned that I was going to be doing this Facebook Live this week. So thank you so much for watching, and you already know what the topic's going to be about. But if you're not a subscriber, then I would love to know why you're not. Every week, every Monday specifically, I'm going to be sending out an email that goes over lifestyle topics. It really digs into ways that you could potentially be limiting yourself. It really works on trying to get positive mindset habits going. I offer weekly challenges, ways that you can incorporate these ideas that I'm talking about and go into your week and challenge yourself to be better and more positive. I'm also going to, in the future, be having recipes, doing some giveaways, offering some coupon codes and discounts for health and wellness products that I'm really passionate about. So I would love for you to join. After this video is over, you should see a link above where you can click and sign up if you like what you saw and you're interested in getting that email every week. So again, thank you so much for watching. And this week I'm going to be talking about resistance. So if you're watching right now, this is live. Go ahead and comment below and tell me what you think resistance is. I will tell you it has nothing to do with fitness. I'm not talking about resistance bands or resistance in the physical aspect. I'm really talking about mentally what resistance is. And it is basically that little voice in your head that tries to sabotage your goals whenever you're trying to accomplish something and you have a goal that you're working towards. It's that voice that always hits you at that moment that's like, you know, the make or break it time. So, for example, this kind of came up for me recently. So I'm currently training for a half marathon. And so I have a pretty rigid schedule of running that I have to do every week. It's basically, I have to do it or else I'm going to show up in September and really be struggling. So I have 3 to 4 short runs during the week and then 1 long run every Saturday. Well, there was a time, I believe it was last week, that I knew I needed to run. It's on my schedule, like I know it needs to happen, but I just wasn't feeling it that day. I really wasn't. I went to the gym. I drove all the way there, had my running shoes, had everything with me, and right at the time when I needed to get on the treadmill, I think I maybe even got on the treadmill and started going and was like, yeah, no, like I'm not, I don't feel it. I'm not doing this today. So instead I went and sat in the sauna. But usually with my routine is I run and then my reward is sitting in the sauna. So it felt really weird for me to just be sitting in the sauna having not earned it. So the whole time I was in there, I was just like, what am I doing? Like, this is really important to me. I know I need to do this run. Like, I know this is working towards a bigger goal that's even 2 months out. But if I don't do this short run today, like it's going to affect my training for the whole rest of the time. So I got out of the sauna, I went back up to the treadmill and I did my run, and I actually had like a really good time. Like I think I was just so motivated to get it over with that I just went for it, and I had like one of the best times I've had recently. So that's what kind of made me think about this, because I feel like this happens for a lot of people, whether your goal has to do with writing or nutrition or fitness, or you're trying to learn how to play the piano. It's like resistance is always going to be there to try to bring you down and try to like get in the way. And it's just like, oh, you deserve to take a break, and you deserve to have that piece of cake, and you deserve whatever. And it's like, no, if your goals are what they are, like I said, if they're, fitness or nutrition related, like you really can't have the cake. Like, everyone loves cake, but you really can't do it. And if it's playing the piano, learning how to play the piano, like you have to put in the time to practice, even if it's the last thing you feel like doing that day. Like you really have to do it. Thanks, Danica. Thanks so much for watching. So there's a couple ways that we can work with this voice, knowing that it happens, knowing that everybody has this problem. And the first is really just to recognize it. So to have the self-awareness that it's happening. So this week, I would encourage you to just, step one, start paying attention to when you hear that voice. For me, it's usually something physical related, if it's fitness related, or nutrition related. So when I know that those things are going to happen, I pay attention, I listen for that voice so I can basically like knock it back down. The second thing to do would be to anticipate it. So like I said, I know that those situations are like a trigger for that voice for me. So I anticipate it. I make sure that I'm ready for it, that I'm ready to come up with all the reasons why this goal is important to me so that I can be like, no, I don't deserve to take a break. I've been sore. I've been more sore in other instances. I've been more tired. Like, there's no reason for me to not do this. And the third thing that I found that really works for me is to plan it. So, I mean, think about it this way. If your boss schedules a meeting, you're not going to bail, right? Like, you have to show up. If your kid has a soccer practice, like, you have to show up and take your kid to that soccer practice, or a soccer game that you want to see. There are so many situations that we like commit to and we keep them because we're like, oh, well, this will upset this person, or I have to show up. Well, what about yourself? Like, you should always show up for yourself. So if one of the things that's going to help you beat that resistance is to plan it, pick out that time that you know you're going to do whatever it is that you need to do to work towards your goal, and show up. Just like you wouldn't bail on a work meeting or bail on your kids, like, you shouldn't bail on yourself, because you need to be 100% before you can offer anything to anyone else. I've also found it really effective for me. Every morning I write down 3 things, and this is really hard for me because I like to think that I can do a million things in one day, but I write down 3 things that if I get those 3 things done, the day will be a win for me. So it's like, I just pick the absolute things that I know I'm not going to want to do that day, and I write them down. And I do this as soon as I wake up. So this is before I drink coffee or water or leave the house for anything. I sit down and I journal, and I call them my 3 to thrive, but 3 things that I have to do in order to make the day a win. And so, for example, knowing that this running schedule is a little more intensive than I'm used to, and something that come 10 a.m., 3 p.m., 5 p.m. I'm not going to want to do, it's the first thing I write on that list. So usually my first one of 3 is run, insert however many miles it is, and then if I want to make myself sit in the sauna, because that's another hard thing for me, I'll put run, for example, 3.5 miles, sit in the sauna for 20 minutes, 5 minutes of core or something, and that's like my first thing. And then I pick 2 other things and that are just going to help me win the day. So again, self-awareness and recognizing that voice, anticipating it, and then planning it. So planning your goal so that you can make sure that you're going to beat that resistance. That's it for today. So thank you so much for watching. And again, as soon as I hit finish post on this, you'll see a link to sign up for my newsletter. I would love for you guys to join it. It's really fun. I'm getting a lot of good feedback from people that are already on the newsletter list, that they're really enjoying the topics that we're talking about. And just so you know, once you join, I try to put it in every email, but just know if you ever want to know more about a certain subject, or there's something that you're really struggling with or that you need help with, just write back. You can reply to any email that I send out, and I read every response, and I'll always respond. So thank you again so much for watching, and I hope you guys have an awesome weekend.